I suppose. Yeah.
So talking about awakening, I'm very tempted to go into when you talk about your baptism in Christianity and your Christian names and everything, but I think we can talk about that at a later stage. I'm more interested in the awakening. We are in a time where a lot of people seem to be going through some type of awakening. Some people say that there are different types of awakening. Some people say that there's awakening and there's indwaso, which is initiation. I'm very interested in that topic.
Okay.
What is an awakening? And can we say that everyone can go through an awakening? What are we awakening to? Those types of questions. So I want us to go into that. I want us to go deeper into what an awakening is.
Okay. All right. So let me put it this way. So awakening it's a natural progression of life for every single human being, right? So we let's say you're raised in a certain way, right? You follow certain rules, you're raised in a certain way, and the people that have created those ways, right? They created those ways as a function of what they have experienced, right? So within the experiences, they say there's a path that you must follow. So when you are first born, we are khuliswa, right? Abazali bakho bathi here's a path, right? Yasekhaya, khuliswa into zasekhaya, right? That's their path. And then when you leave ekhaya, then in our traditional ways in Africa, but it's also universal, then ulobulla, right? Mayobulla, uyokhuliswa ngendlela so now it's no longer indlela zasekhaya zedwa, right? It's sabo MaGaba, sabo man, all collectively, right? And Nelson, let's maybe use Nelson Mandela, right? So Nelson Mandela then given Holitata, whatever, and then waya entabe wathole igama lakhe lokuthi igama lakhe uDalibunga, right?
Yes.
Now that's where you're going to learn the ways of the nature that you are in there. But life doesn't stop there as well, right? There is the nature of animals, there is the nature of trees, there's the nature of nature in its entirety, right? But nature in its entirety also has its own language, has its own ways, has its own everything that is written down is as a science or whatever. It's people that were awakened to nature's ways and they say, oh, this is how it is. Every path came that way, right? When somebody awakens to the intelligence that all of it comes from, right? Because you are shown the way. This is the way, right? But you don't know why the way came about. Why does this all come about? Where's the information? Where's the intelligence behind it? So awakening is something that naturally happens with every human being. It's a part of evolution. It's an evolutionary process. You are awakening. So like take for instance, you're sleeping and you're waking up and say, oh, okay, the sun is out, the birds are chirping, right? Now Intwaso is awakening to something, right? Awakening to something. So now you're awakening, okay, this is where this comes from, this is where this comes from. So when somebody goes to Intwaso is there's a saying in the old sages that says when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? Now when you're awakening, and then as you're awakening, you're like, oh good, let me go study law, right? Now the student has awakened, the teacher appears, you go, you sit down, the professors are teaching you law. Intwaso is the same thing, is that you're now awakening, now you're awakening to learn and to remember more, right? The teacher then appears, that's when now you remember, well, you see somebody, you're shown somebody, or you see somebody, however people we see ways in different ways, right? That's when you go to Intwaso. Intwaso is to initiate a new process. We say in Sesotho, Obamochonoko. Right? To be a Mochonoko is to go and literally heal, to concentrate in the ways of healing the nation, right? So you're awakening to be a person who is a conduit of healing to the nation, right? Another person awakens to become a defender, it becomes a king, right?
Okay.
You awaken and you become a defender of the nation, remembering the ways of your ancestors. This is how they did things and whatever. A healer awakens to remember the ways of the people that were in charge of the healing of the nation. So you're awakening to become a specific kind of person.
So can we therefore say awakening is like ukhumbula? Is it like a remembering? Uba ndim lo mntu, ndilolu hlobo, and I came here uba ndizokwenza into ethile. Then you are saying that being initiated into something ke ngoku which makes intwaso of it. Then ke ngoku uyangena kakuhle into whatever it is oyizele apha ozoyenza.
Yeah.